Hey everyone, and welcome back to Delightful by Design. I've watched so many videos that completely romanticize the tiny house lifestyle. Aesthetic Instagram tours, peaceful off grid living, cutting costs. It's always looked so dreamy on the screen. But recently, I came across this video that was named Watch People Instantly Regret Buying Tiny Homes, and it completely flipped the script. It dives into the brutal reality of what happens when the trend wears off and real life sets in. But if you ever entertain the idea of downsizing, here's why so many people are ending up filled with regret. Stay tuned for more.
I wish I never did. It was the biggest regret of my life.
I'm building a tiny home, and I would like to preface by saying don't do it.
Instagram made it look like a dream, but reality is a cramped nightmare. Thousands of Americans are facing bitter regret after buying tiny homes. Today, we expose the dark side of this trend and the heavy price of minimalism. Let's get it.
Some in society has rebranded unaffordable housing as a quote unquote cute trend. Many people aren't choosing tiny homes because it's their actual dream. They are choosing them because traditional housing costs have skyrocketed out of reach. Living cramped isn't always a choice. It's often just what people can afford, leading to long-term frustration when living in a glorified box starts feeling more like a restriction than freedom.
Really insulted that tiny homes is a trend just because we can't buy houses that are decent sizes anymore. Like they're trying to sell us tiny houses and be like, look at how cute it is to have this tiny little house. It's really trendy right now. Our parents used to joke that if you fucked up enough in life, you would end up in a van by the river. And now a lot of people buy vans to go travel the US because they can't afford a home. And that's like a goal for them. Like a lot of people can't afford a van by the river.
Think about it for a second.
One of the biggest eye openers when owning a tiny home is severe loss in value and depreciation. Is the financial reality of owning a tiny home. Massive depreciation. Unlike traditional real estate, tiny homes on wheels or RVs conversions depreciate rapidly, sometimes losing up to 80% of their value in just 2 years. High building costs. Tiny homes often cost $300 to $400 per square foot to build, compared to $150 to $200 for traditional homes, meaning you pay significantly more per unit of space for an asset that drops in value. The land versus structure illusion. As Dave Ramsey pointed out in the clip, people confuse land appreciation with home value. The structure itself is a depreciating vehicle, making it a terrible long term investment.
So, for context, here's the cliff notes. If you've ever wanted to tiny live, take it from someone who learned the hard way and who did it for technically 2 years, but it was less than that we lived in it. It is horrible. The amount of social media that I see glamorizing tiny living, I'm sure that works for some people. I now know that there's a right and a wrong way to do it. But honestly, no one talks enough about how horrible it can be tiny live. I'm currently about to pull my hair out because we got an RV to tiny live in temporarily to move across country, knowing we were going to sell it down the line to put towards a house, which is what we're doing right now. It depreciated over 80%.
Rocketed?
Don't buy mobile homes. That's not a class warfare thing. It's not anything. It's a simple math thing. They go down in value. When you put your money in things that go down in value, it makes you poorer. Why is this hard? So a mobile home is like a car you sleep in. It goes down in value. And so you don't go buy a $55,000 mobile home and then look up 10 years later and it's worth $10,000 and wonder why you're broke, people. Don't do that. Buy something that goes up in value. You're better off to rent. At least you're not losing while you're paying payments. When you pay payments on a mobile home, you're paying the payment and you're losing. And the problem with the stinking mobile home is they set it on a piece of dirt, and the piece of dirt goes up in value faster than the mobile home goes down, so it gives you the illusion you made money. You didn't. The dirt just saved you from your stupidity.
Several tiny homeowners sharing the daily annoyances that eventually broke their spirit, lack of basic amenities, and day-to-day regrets, such as water and climate comfort, short 5 minutes hot water limits, poor loft temperature control, and paper-thin walls that let in every outside sound, no storage or space, cramped kitchens with no counter space, zero closet space, forcing clothes under the bed, and no room for basic family privacy. Missing essentials such as homeowners sharing horror stories about having no space for a trash can, no dishwasher, and having to travel to relatives' house just to do basic laundry. Zero mitigation, from mold causing poor ventilation to a skunk spraying a pet where the only place to clean them is in the master bedroom. Tiny homes leave zero physical buffer when things go wrong.
What about where to put a trash can? So, yeah, that's horrible. The next thing that I hate is how small our sink is and that we don't have a dishwasher. The next thing that I hate is having to do laundry at family members' houses because we don't have a washer and dryer. So if I were to build a tiny home again, I would definitely make a spot for a washer and dryer, even if that's outside. I don't care. I know a lot of people are probably curious on our tiny home, and we actually just posted a YouTube video of like a whole tiny home tour if you want to go check that out. At the end of the day, like me and my husband literally built this with our two hands, and I love our tiny home. I brought both our kids home. This is like our home, and we made it a home, and I really, really love it. But of course, there's just little things that just like, why didn't we think of? I'm not gonna have to worry about that for too long because we're actually building a house, and it's like an actual house, like a real house, like a big one. Stay tuned for that.
Living in a small home, and it's probably not what you think it is. It is your dog getting sprayed by a skunk at 11 o'clock at night, and you don't have a garage, you don't have a shed, you don't have a front porch, you don't have a mudroom, you literally have nowhere to put him, so you have no choice but to stay up until like 2 o'clock in the morning washing him multiple times and putting him in your only bathroom, which is right beside your bedroom. So now I have been smelling skunk since 11 o'clock at night in my entire small home now.
The most alarming is the predatory side of the industry: scams, failed companies, and vanishing deposits, fake builders and social media scams. Fake companies post stunning 15,000 to 20,000 demo renders online, demand small deposits up front, and ghost buyers immediately. Overpromising and bankruptcy. Legitimate looking builders accept full payment and deposit faster than they can manufacture, eventually going under and filing for bankruptcy before delivering the home. Lawsuits and financial abuse. The Real News investigation into companies like Tiny Heirlooms and buyers pay up to $200,000 and were left empty-handed amid lawsuits and allegations of financial abuse.
That you're working with a legitimate tiny home company. So a lot of people are seeing these really beautiful homes and they're under $50,000 and they think, man, that's a really good deal. I'm excited for this. And they just dive right in and pay a deposit, and then they get ghosted and never hear from the company again. So to start, a lot of the time these houses are just way too good of a deal to be true. For $50,000, you can get a tiny home, but it is not the crazy spec'd out one. that some of these companies are claiming you can get for $15,000 or $20,000. Tiny homes are definitely affordable.
What if you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a tiny home and years later you had nothing to show for it? For months now, I've been investigating Tiny Heirloom, a Portland tiny home company. Our first report exposed dozens of complaints and lawsuits, a judicial ruling of financial elder abuse, and details about the company's owners who owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid Oregon taxes, according to the State Department of Revenue. Since then, I've received so many new calls and emails from other frustrated customers. Some are asking for a state investigation.
Where are these agencies that are supposed to protect us as consumers? Department of Justice, Oregon, come help us. They shouldn't be allowed to continue operating, doing this to people.
The Oregon DOJ denied my records request about Tiny Heirloom, citing an exemption for current or potential litigation. Other customers are still hoping the company comes good. Catherine Hicks paid $200,000 3 years ago. She couldn't believe when our reporting popped up in her algorithm.
It was just crazy. And so I think knowing that you're not alone is both a blessing and a curse, because you realize, oh, you're not alone. I'm not the only one struggling with this, but oh, you're not alone. He's done this to other people.
If you're set on buying a tiny home or any unit with limited essentials, take an honest inventory of the amenities you need to live comfortably. Then verify in writing that this setup can realistically provide them before you write a check. Protect yourself by confirming local zoning and parking rules, pricing, the true all-in ownership costs, land, lot rent, utilities, insurance, maintenance, towing, permits, and upgrades. Stress testing your storage and day-to-day space needs, evaluating climate control and insulating for your region, researching builders' reputations through third-party reviews and past customer references, understanding the likely resale value and depreciation, and having the contract terms reviewed, deliverable bill timeline, change orders, warranties, payment schedules, and refunds. Exit clause. Have you ever considered tiny home living, or do you think the trade-offs are way too steep? Let me know in the comments below.
He bought me a house and I didn't like it. Yes, I did not like the house. I told him the house is too small. I do not like it. And he started going off on me. He goes, you know what, Jessica, you're very ungrateful. I cannot believe that, I even put a brand new roof on it and everything. And you are so ungrateful. Yeah, but the house is so tiny that what's going to fit in there, first off? Okay? What is going to fit in there? I'm going to show you guys the house. You guys are probably like, you are ungrateful. But you're going to agree with me. Or you better agree with me. Right here. This is the house. I don't even have a door. Like, are you serious? He goes, oh, I built a new roof and everything. And yeah, where's the door, guy? Where's the door? In fact, I was sitting on top of this while I was recording. What house did you buy me again? Because, yeah. So, yeah.